Welcome to Travel in Style, the series that brings you the very best of the best. Darling Island, Miller's Point, Circular Quay, all elements of the state capital of New South Wales in Australia. Welcome to Sydney. This modern, brash city was the site of the first British colony in Australia and today has the highest population of the world's smallest continent. It's also one of the most multicultural cities in the world and so is often mistaken as the capital of Australia, which of course is Canberra. Sydney is the most expensive city in Australia, and with its warm summers from October to March, it becomes a playground for the world's jet-set travelers seeking fun, sun, and barbecues on the beach. As always on this series, we join some lucky couples and share their experiences in some of the world's finest hotels. Hotels that go beyond a 5-star grading. Hotels that are really special. To find that quality of hotel in Sydney, we have chosen the Observatory Hotel. Right in the heart of the city, this hotel is geared for romance, business, and even family holidays. Children, for example, are given goldfish for the rooms for the duration of their stay. And there is a wide range of rooms. So let's give you the world-class grand tour. This boutique hotel, all spacious and elegant. The suites with custom-made furniture, antique fireplaces, and polished mahogany. In the bedroom, a magnificent 4-poster bed with hand-carved posts and decorated in rose petals awaits honeymoon couples, or is available simply on request. We have booked a 20-minute trip with Sydney Seaplanes to the heart of the Ku-ring-gai Chase National Park for lunch. How's that for style? We have landed at a cottage restaurant called Point Inn in Cole and Candle Creek. The only way to arrive is by plane, boat, or, of course, simply in style.
The restaurant's been here for about 30 years. I've been here for 15 years of that. Over the summertime, some of the vessels you see are incredible. You know, on this sort of waterway, it doesn't matter what sort of vessel you've got. It could be a canoe or a 120-metre yacht. It's just as beautiful. It's totally different than running a restaurant, say, in town with 4 walls and a window out onto the street. People normally are happy when they arrive, so it's not too hard to make them that little bit happier and get some gratification from your work. And we try and keep the dishes fairly fresh, not too much overworking, not too many heavy sauces, and just keep it within seasonality as much as we can. Obviously with an emphasis on seafood, but we try and incorporate some game and meat dishes as well, so we hopefully keep as many people happy as possible.
For the more energetic, there are other ways of achieving a bird's-eye view. Try climbing the Sydney Harbour Bridge, for example. Just how high is it? Our guide Ralph Langley has the answer.
442 feet, a 40-storey building. That's how high we are. We're about, as we look down, 5.2 seconds above the water. Statistically, 2 climbers on every group will be seriously affected by height anxiety. But in our training, we are trained very thoroughly to sort of look after folks. If we can get them up onto the arch and they feel secure between the handrails, solid steel, about 3 metres wide, generally we can get them all the way around. And if we can do that, they're just over the moon. They're just taking themselves out of their comfort zone. It's just awesome. And that's the job satisfaction, seeing the expressions on their faces. It's just brilliant.
People just seem to love it up here.
Well, as you can hear, they're cheering. I don't know whether it's because they recognise me or they're just happy to be up here, but they absolutely do adore it. They're at the top of the bridge, and I mean, you'd have to be a hard marker not to be happy to be up here.
It's an incredible bridge, a huge structural achievement.
It was an achievement, 9 years to build, 1923 to 1932. A gentleman called Dr. John Bradfield lobbied for nearly 40-odd years to get the bridge up and running. He did many, many tours overseas, looking at bridges in the UK, in Europe, in America, to finally come up with this structure, this design, and to have the guile and resourcefulness to get it through all the legislative sort of situations that they needed was just amazing. The Eiffel Tower, folks, has 3 million rivets. The Harbour Bridge has 6 million rivets. Twice as riveting as the Eiffel Tower. That's what we are.
The Sydney Bridge overlooks one of the most famous natural harbors in the world. Although the view is fantastic, the best way to observe it, of course, is by sea. So, go rent a yacht. Even if you have never taken the helm before, with a little tuition and a half an hour or so, you will be cruising at 15 knots with the salty wind in your hair. Why does it seem so easy here? Skipper Gary Taylor has been teaching for 20 years.
We've got hardly any tide here, we don't have fog. It's very, very clear in terms of rocks and so forth. You can sail around this harbour and go nowhere near any rocks, any shoals, any sandbars, nothing like that. It's a magic place to sail. It doesn't take long with a skipper on board just to coach you as you go around the harbour. We're a Royal Yachting Association training or sailing school, so we can teach the same sort of programs they teach in England and all through the Med. And that will take a bit longer, but just to get you up and running on a nice relaxing day with a few beers and a bit of champagne, some chicken as you cruise around, 15 minutes, half an hour, and you'll be able to sail this boat. If you can sail yourself, it's a lot cheaper. If you take out one of our smaller boats, our smallest boat's about 33 feet Beneteau. Our biggest one's a 47-foot Beneteau. So it just ranges from about, say, $600 up to, depending on how many people you have, a couple of thousand. But the small boats are fine for like a couple. You can have up to 6 people, say. Really pleasant day on the harbour.
Time for a change of scene and some more self-indulgence. London, the capital of England. This is a wonderful city to behold, with its vast green parks and gardens, overlooked by both ancient and modern architecture. Here you'll find great imposing structures that give a true reflection of the country's powerful status as a global financial giant, and of course, as a political world leader. But this is not just a city of work. It's a city to live and love life's enjoyments and pleasures. Greater London is divided up into 32 regions called London boroughs, and each borough is unique. London is truly cosmopolitan, from the West End to the East End, with Croydon in the south and Enfield in the north, all offering communities of different styles, race, and religion. Linking many of the boroughs and flowing through the heart of the city is the River Thames, offering power, water, and life. A trip on the Thames is unforgettable, passing all of London's major landmarks as it winds its way under many bridges, including the spectacular Tower Bridge, an iconic image that's known throughout the world. On every corner of every street, you will find places of interest. In fact, with so many tourist attractions, restaurants, bars, and clubs to choose from, it would take a lifetime to explore London fully. So a vacation here has to be carefully planned, according to your own interests. So where to start? Well, in the heart of London is Mayfair, and in the heart of Mayfair is Brown's Hotel, a hotel that's well placed to explore from, and is well placed in the great art of English tradition. This was the first ever hotel in London, and since opening its doors in 1837, it was the venue for genteel folk, and so became synonymous with the ceremony of serving afternoon tea.
English afternoon tea, Brown's has got to be the place to take it. Served on traditional Edwardian three-tier stands. Pastries, sandwiches, scones, Dundee cake and a trolley with a Victoria sponge, all made in-house in a relaxed environment where Agatha Christie wrote, it was like visiting her own mother's sitting room to have English afternoon tea. Brown's is a very English hotel. When you come to Brown's, you're not staying in a cookie cutter hotel in any other city in the world. You know you're in London. Well, Brown's is the oldest hotel in London. It was opened in 1837, and it was set up really as the first hotel for landed gentry to be able to visit London and stay in a public building as opposed to private homes. It was extended from a few townhouses now into a total of 11 townhouses that have been joined together to create what really is a very intimate hotel in perhaps one of the most fabulous locations in the centre of Mayfair, in one of the most famous cities in the world. The difference between us and most other hotels is that having been designed as a hotel, a bedroom will have one window. You will see in the rooms that you've walked around today that this room, for instance, has floor-to-ceiling windows and very elevated ceilings, lots of space, lots of opulence, whereas other purpose-built hotels have one window. So we have an abundance of natural light and people feel as though they are at home. Olga Polizzi, who is Sirocco Forte, our chairman and chief executive sister, this was the last hotel within the collection that she actually did the interior design herself personally. She is our design director and so therefore sees for the brand every interior design, but this is the one that she handled herself. And I think that is where the comfortability has come through, the style, the elegance, the timelessness. That our designs are here today and they will still be here tomorrow, as opposed to being bright colours that are overshadowed by time. Mrs. Polizzi has the most wonderful knack of enabling hotels to be able to exude the location to which they sit. There is a richness of English fabrics, Englishness, a lot of English artwork is on our walls.
The hotel has an amazing history. For instance, it was here that both Theodore and Franklin Roosevelt stayed on their honeymoons. Another great wordsmith who enjoyed this hotel was Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill. In every room you will find books on his work. But should you desire to discover more about this great man, you will find his legacy evident throughout London. Churchill served as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1940 to 1945, and again from 1951 to 1955. A noted statesman and orator, Churchill was also an officer in the British Army, an historian, a Nobel Prize-winning writer, and an artist. To learn more, visit the Churchill Museum and the Cabinet War Rooms, where you will find cutting-edge technology displays that bring the exciting story of Sir Winston Churchill to life. In the heart of the museum is a 15-meter-long interactive table on which visitors can access information from every year of Churchill's life, down to specific weeks and days. The Lifeline puts key events in Churchill's life in context and engages users through a variety of animations and sounds. However, it's the cabinet war rooms themselves that are more interesting. These rooms are eerily frozen in time. The rooms were closed on August 16, 1945, the day after VJ Day, and were left almost exactly as you can see today. To discover London by foot is by far the most rewarding, with fine eateries, pubs, and wine bars that are in such abundance you will always find a table. You can't really visit London without taking a trip to watch the age-old tradition known as the changing of the guard. The responsibility of guarding the sovereign by the household troops dates back to the reign of Henry VII, who ruled from 1485 to 1509. These men are not just ceremonial guards, but also serving soldiers. So while upholding the traditions of the past, they also perform duties throughout the world as professional soldiers and are known as some of the most elite and skilled soldiers in the British Army, who have fought in virtually every major area of conflict with great distinction. From the 17th century to the modern wars of today. At just under 450 feet high, this awesome construction is the largest Ferris wheel in Europe and undoubtedly offers the best views in town. Rotating at just half a mile an hour, it moves so slowly that it does not usually stop to board or disembark its passengers. In fact, each revolution of this enormous big wheel takes 30 minutes, so you have plenty of time to take pictures of London's most famous landmarks. This is a great place to familiarize yourself with the layout of this great city. Each capsule holds approximately 24 people who are free to walk around inside the capsule. It was formally opened by the then British Prime Minister Tony Blair on the 31st of December in 1999 to celebrate the turn of the millennium, and had only been intended to be used for 5 years as a temporary attraction. But it became so popular that the local government voted for it to stay as a permanent attraction. By midsummer 2008, some 30 million people had ridden the London Eye, making it one of London's most popular tourist attractions. At dusk, a stroll along the Thames embankment becomes a truly romantic affair, as the warm early evening light bounces off steel bridges, glass-laden skyscrapers, and ancient granite facades. The Thames itself changes color from chocolate brown to a rich dark blue with shimmering gold highlights. Here, twilight becomes an hour of magic and a time of calm. It's a time to simply pause, enjoy, and savor the last moments of daylight before London transforms into a city of the night. Back in the hotel, it's cocktail time in the Donovan Bar. where trendy contemporary furnishings with wooden floors, black leather seating, and dark country check banquettes provide the ideal setting to relax and indulge. Paying homage to the celebrated British photographer Terence Donovan, the bar walls are lined with over 50 of his iconic black and white prints. For a little fun, take a seat in the naughty corner, where you will find some of Terence's more risque photographs. In the kitchens, executive chef Lee Streeton creates a classic British dish for the hotel restaurant, the Albemarle, using only local ingredients.
I think now we're getting all the ingredients that's been around us for so long, but always never used them. Always gone to France or Spain or Italy. And I think everyone's woken up to the fact that we've got some of the best ingredients in the world in England. So Best of British is about using ingredients that's all around us. The menu is based upon British ingredients, which is sourced all over the British Isles, and the menu reflects the seasons. For instance, you wouldn't find asparagus in winter here, or you wouldn't find strawberries. So it's basically very, very seasonal, hence why we change the menu so often here. We change the menu about every week to 2 weeks. Not all the dishes, but we change dish here, dish there, dish here, dish there. And the reason is for that is about seasonality.
The Albemarle was the first restaurant to open within a hotel in London, and thanks to Lee's passion and flair, and his commitment to fresh local ingredients, it continues to win awards, including 3 of the coveted AA Rosettes. For the night owls among us, London is at its best after dark. With sophisticated restaurants, jazz bars, and nightclubs, this really is a city that never sleeps. As the darkness moves in, sadly, that's all we have time for. Because in this show, we have only skimmed the surface of what you can see in this great city. And London at Night tells a very different story. A story that would require a whole series of programs to portray fully. Be sure to join us next time. Till then, goodbye.